You ever like a band, so you buy an album, but really only like 2 or 3 songs on the album?
Every band ever.
These are the songs in the album. You know?
Yeah.
I sipped it and I skipped through the first few tracks that I didn't like. If that makes sense.
Welcome back to Spirits Collective.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Alex.
And this is a show where we all learn to drink together.
And today we have Matt with us again.
It's good to be back.
And we're drinking El Amo Tequila Anejo. So El Amo Edicion Premium Anejo is distilled at NOM 1479, also known as Campaña Tequilera Haciendo la Capilla. That is a mouthful. And it's a pretty big, some things worth noting is it's a pretty big distillery with 24 brands currently being produced there.
Dang.
The proof is 80 or 40 ABV. They use a roller mill to crush the agave. This one is cooked in autoclaves.
So, what do you think about it being from such a big distillery? You think maybe that attention is divided between all those brands?
I think it's fine when there's notable tequilas on their sort of resume. I just looked through there. There was nothing worth noting. Another thing is it's cooked in an autoclave. Do any of you guys know what that is?
No, dude. What is that?
So normally we've had stone brick oven cooked agave tequilas on here, and that means they put it in either a stone or a brick oven or a mixture of both.
Yeah.
And they cook it sort of the old school way. This one is sort of cooked in like a giant metal sort of Instapot, and they're able to cut down the cooking time by like, I think 12 to 15 hours.
Is that not good?
There's a few brands that really know how to use the autoclave, but overall I'd say no, it's not very good. But who knows? This is going to be the first tequila we've had on here that is cooked in an autoclave, so all 3 of us could be the judges of that. With that being said, I do love the name, and I think the bottle's pretty interesting. What do you guys think?
I like that it has the Hecho en Mexico little sticker.
Yeah,
I think,
you need to, man. You got to.
I think if you can compensate losing flavor, some of the profiles, and doing the little metal bin for speed or maybe even consistency's sake, it might even be worth it. You know, who's to say less isn't more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to be open-minded about it.
Yeah. If there's anything about this that gets me excited, is this damn bottle design, man. It looks so legit, so cool. It has this little metal agave thing on there.
I think they did hit it out of the park. It looks very
I hadn't seen
sort of traditional. This is our first drum roll, please. Anejo tequila. So with that being said, we've reached our 3rd expression of tequila on this channel.
Finally.
Yes, we've done the blancos, we've done the reposados, and now we've come to the 3rd expression, añejo.
Yeah.
So do either of you know what that means? I'm pretty sure.
It's the longest aged one, right? Like there's like an añejo plus or whatever you say, extra añejo, but this is like the most aged tequila you can get, right? Like, yeah.
So before extra añejos, there was really only the añejos, and that means tequila is pretty highly regulated by the CRT, which we now know is in Spanish. I don't know, but if you flip it around, you get TRC. You know what that stands for?
You've asked me this, and I don't remember.
You get the Tequila Regulatory Council, so they're sort of the tequila police.
Too easy.
And what that means is the tequila is regulated. So for them to legally call it an añejo, it needs to be aged for at least 12 months.
Okay.
So hence añejo, which means like a year.
Yeah. Reposados were buried again, and joven's just young, right?
So joven, I don't know if it's an official expression yet, but that one is actually a blanco mixed with a repo.
Oh.
And they call that a joven.
I didn't know that part.
So cool. So if you see joven...
I didn't know that either. Alex, man, coming through with the facts.
But what do you think? Should we get in there?
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that cork.
Safo.
Dang, dude.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
All right, El Almo, I see you. What do you guys think of the color and stuff?
I mean, it looks pretty light. Looks pretty thin. Not a whole lot of tears and stuff.
Yeah.
Straightforward.
Holds itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
I know I sniffed it a little early, but I still kind of smell it lingering in a really nice way.
Here we go.
On the nose, everyone.
On the nose.
I'm getting a lot of raw agave, I think.
It was
Very
not,
pleasant, though.
It was not over processed.
This is not the worst agave smell I've ever smelled. Yeah, this is,
I'd say people say cooked agave and raw agave, and I think this is more of the raw.
It's a very welcoming smell.
Yeah,
this is not bad.
Like if I spilled this on myself, I wouldn't be like, ugh. I think it would still gross out my girl if she's like smelled it in my breath.
Are you are you guys getting any whiskey notes? I'm having
Honestly,
trouble.
I am just slightly, but
Through the sweetness, I'd imagine
yeah.
the honey, the
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's a nice sweetness there.
yeah, but no, I guess I get more of the that bitterness from the honey, like that follows.
I gotta say this is probably the easiest tequila I've smelled on the channel so far.
And it should be, you know, like I said, añejo, so it's the longest aged expression, or one of the longer aged expressions of tequila.
Even getting in there didn't burn.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Just like a little,
It was alright.
not as much as like Daco would. You know?
What do you what do you guys think? Should we have a taste?
Yeah, let's do it.
Please.
This is the taste. Cheers.
God, man, that is so smooth. Holy crap!
But so much. I was waiting for the burn, but it never came.
It never came. Yeah,
I would say that was. I mean, it's an añejo, so
Everything-
like, it's pretty easy.
super
Like,
easy, super fresh. Not too strong. I mean, no burn. Delicious.
I can't wait to try this on the rocks. Squeeze of lime or tonic.
Yeah. Not a ton of sweetness, not a ton of vanilla, which for me is a good thing.
Very well balanced, I think.
So that, again, that means for me that they're not using that many additives, if any.
If some of what they lost from that whole metal tin and cooking
Autoclave, yeah.
was, if it's different from other tequilas because it lost that with this, I like this style a lot.
This is really good.
Autoclave.
Autoclave, yeah. It's like a giant, basically like a metal instant pot.
It's like air frying stuff from the freezer. I like
All
it.
right. Yeah. Like I said, there is a brand or two that they're sort of notorious for using autoclaves, but it's also like really, really good tequila. I think it just depends on how you use it. Like if you know how to use the autoclave. But at the same time, if you're using an autoclave, you're saving money. So if you're saving money, you should sort of, what's it called? Pass that on to the consumer.
Yeah.
So how much is this bottle, dude?
This one will set you back with taxes and everything included, $46.31, at least in the South Texas area.
Understandably.
But it is an añejo, so
It is an añejo.
That's not super bad, I think.
Like, think of it this way: we had Casamigos earlier, not earlier today, but like earlier in the show. That was a blanco. That was $50. That is a premium price tag for a blanco.
You're paying for George Clooney's name, though, dude.
You're paying to give him money and fucking. I'll be honest, I'm enjoying this way more than I thought. I'll even like Matt go in for another sip.
I went for a big gulp and it was not a big gulp but a big sip and it was welcoming.
I think it's very fresh. Has like a fresh taste. Very nice.
Man, if this is the ceiling. Can you imagine when we have like some of the other brands we've come to like their añejos?
Like a freaking Fortaleza.
Like
añejo.
Fortaleza añejo is probably gonna be insane.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean,
But yeah, I think we should we
on
go
the
on the
rocks?
rocks already?
Let's do rocks.
Yeah.
On the rocks. It's the ice. It's the displacement of fluids.
all right, the smell.
This is on the rocks. We're going
Alright,
for the
it's same
smell.
pretty much. Yeah, it's the same pretty much for me.
I'm getting a fresh, crisp agave-ness now, and that's all I'm really getting.
Yeah, it's a good smell. It's all right. It's whatever. It's
It
cool.
smells a lot more mellow.
Yeah.
It feels like it smells crispy to me.
Crispy.
Like crispy, fresh agave.
Yeah. I was jokingly wanted to say a fresh linen dryer sheet because of the crisp.
Hey, if that's what it reminded you of, say it, bro.
Yeah.
Quith. We sips now?
Yeah,
yeah. For those of you watching, this is El Amo Premium Anejo Tequila. Cheers. You know what? That brought out a little more of those whiskey notes for me.
Yeah.
A little more of the caramel, the sort of bitterness that you get from when you put whiskeys on the rocks.
It blew my mind because it was more flavorful, but easier to drink.
Yeah.
Not bitter, but a lot more came out.
I don't like it on the rocks.
I'm impressed with this on the rocks.
Yeah.
I do have to say though,
It's more bitter.
I've never had tequila on the rocks like this, and I like it.
A lot of people have,
and that's why we always do, because I found a trend with a lot of blancos. They usually taste pretty gross on the rocks, but we still try it just in case that one bottle is actually flavorful. And we actually found it. Fortaleza Still Strength was actually pretty good on the rocks.
You got to try that one, Matt.
Yeah, and we'll let Matt sample it. But yeah, that's why we do this. Even though we might have our preferences or whatever already, we will always try neat and on the rocks for you guys.
It's not like super terrible. It's just, I don't know. I like it more neat.
It's just not for you.
Yeah, neat was a lot better.
Understandable.
There's a certain crispness. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna say like crunchy, like reason that I like silver tequilas in like a margarita or a paloma.
Yeah.
And I stay away from these specifically, but I wouldn't be mad if someone threw a little bit of like grapefruit in here or like lime.
Man.
Yeah, I think anything Mexican is meant to go with like a squeeze of lime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I normally, even if I'm downing a shot, I stay away from the salt for sure. Lime is fine, but I wouldn't be upset if this was salty either.
For me, it depends on the tequila. Now that I'm a little more informed, I'd be like, oh shit, this tequila, give me a lime. You know what I mean? Or give me the salt.
Let's go on the verdict or what?
Matt repping his merch there. Dankfest coming 420.
I don't know if it's I hope we had a good show or hey guys, great show, but whenever this episode comes out.
Matt, you're our guest. What'd you think of this tequila in general? Neat, on the rocks?
If I could flash back to like us hanging out this past Saturday, and I was sipping tequila that night, if this was what I was sipping on neat, that would have been cool. If it was on the rocks, my palate wants more. I wanted to follow up with the grapefruit, some tart, some sweet. I'd even go as far as maybe throwing like tahini on an orange and throwing that in there. just to get some of that in there, especially given the whole whiskey bourbon notes that follow it.
Yeah.
It would be like a Mexican old-fashioned almost, you know?
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Dude,
almost
I completely
entirely.
agree with what you said,
Alan, how about you? What do you think?
I kind of agree with everything that he said. It's pretty good. Neat's like the way to go with this one. When you put it on the rocks, I feel like it takes away some of that you got on while it was neat. And then, like you said, it would taste good with like something fresh, like an orange or something in it.
Slight citrus.
Yeah, some citrus would
citrus.
really, it would benefit from some citrus on the rocks.
So for me, it was sort of like bland, but in a very, very, very good way. Like there was so little there, but what was there stood out a lot and was actually very good, and you picked up on it pretty quickly. Not a lot of the whiskey notes. I will say that when you do put it on the rocks, those whiskey notes sort of come out a little bit more. I got a lot of nice raw agave when I was drinking it neat. It was nice and crispy when I drank it on the rocks. This one surprised me, and I really like it. Would you recommend this to a beginner or in general as an añejo tequila?
Yeah, it's a pretty good. I mean, from what I've seen, tequila can go pretty high in price, and this one seems pretty reasonably priced, and it's an añejo, so it's like the most age expression you can get aside from like extra añejo and all these other ones. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Really smooth, really good. Drink it neat though. I think it's like where you'll get the best experience.
What about you, Matt? How do you feel? Would you recommend this to a beginner or in general as an añejo tequila?
I'm gonna start off essentially as with the bourbon we tried. if you're going for that sort of understanding of a spirit, definitely a good one to go to. But I feel it's also a little more welcoming to beginners and anybody starting. It wasn't empalagoso, it wasn't too heavy or overbearing. I mean, didn't burn, didn't sting the way a
Didn't burn at all. Now that you say that,
the way a $3 or $4 tequila shot has tasted to me, it's great. Even the higher end $20, $30 bottles, nowhere near in comparison in smoothness and flavor. Whatever they did, whatever they lost from the way they
how it's made, yeah.
yeah, might have been a godsend almost.
For me, I would most definitely recommend this for beginners, especially for their first añejo.
Yeah.
This is our first añejos, and we've all had a really pleasant experience so far.
A lot of firsts today.
Listen, I think I can speak for both of us when I say we will be there for Dankfest on 420. Love what you guys are doing. Love how you guys have gotten bigger, and the turnouts you get, it's well deserved. So congrats to all that. I hope you have another great turnout, and I think we should close this out. Let's have one last sip.
Cheers. And if there's any way you guys can make it for the show on your show, that'd be very welcome.
We'll see what we can do.
A little live
I
show.
don't know how, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Stream it live or just be there. Cheers.
Cheers.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
There it is.